So we want you to have a great experience when you're meal prepping, and we want it to be super fast, simple, and convenient. And your meal prep tip of the day is how to chop. So I have a few ingredients laid out here, and we're gonna show you some quick, simple tips that's gonna make you look like a gourmet chef in the kitchen. Our first tip, have a sharp knife. Invest in a good sharp knife. Also, your chopping board is very important. You always want it to be really sturdy. You never want it to rock around. So if it's rocking and you're chopping something, especially with a sharp knife, you run the risk of cutting yourself or injuring yourself, and we definitely don't want that. All right, so now that we have all of our tools out of the way, let's start chopping up some veggies. All right, so my first tip is for cauliflower. So we have this cut all the way directly down the center. I love doing cauliflower roasted, steamed. It's such a great veggie, but it's kind of confusing on how to cut. You have your cauliflower cut in half, and you just want to take your knife and run it right along the branches and start pulling them off. So just like so. So then you're left with this core, which you can then toss away, you don't need it. And then you have your cauliflower florets that you want to just start breaking down just with the middle of your knife. The next thing I want to show you guys is how to dice an onion. So there's always going to be this little tail on the onion, and you want to keep that and chop the bottom off where the roots would be. So just one swift chop, and then you want to cut this onion in half. Right? And then you're going to peel off that outside layer, not just the little thin skin, but really the entire layer. So we have our bare onion. We're just going to do slices right across. Just like so. 2 slices horizontally, and then long ways we'll cut them, and depending on how big you want your onions. So I'm going to do a small dice on this, so we're going to do a lot of linear chops all the way down. And I'm starting with the bottom of my knife. This is a good sharp tip right here, and just rocking the knife in. We'll turn it back to the front. And we have our perfectly diced onions. And the more you do this, the quicker it'll be. But I promise you, this sharp, sharp knife, it makes all the difference. Another chopping tip I have for you guys is for a bell pepper. I used to get so stressed out with these because they're full of seeds in the center. And so I would be cutting off the top, taking the core and the seeds out, and it makes a mess. There's seeds everywhere. So just to avoid that whole part, stay around the top and just cut those sides off. All right, so you can see we're leaving that core intact, just like so. And then boom, throw it away, don't even eat it. You can cut them long ways. If you're doing fajitas, you want nice thin strips that are gonna be sauteed down, or you can dice them up, so you would cut them long ways, turn them to the side, one finger on to guide it, other hand in a claw, and then you got your diced bell pepper. All right, so another great thing, we have a little bunch of cilantro here. A lot of times I see people when they get ready to chop cilantro, they take this little thing off. This is honestly, it's here to help you, right? Because you're not using any of this, so we're not worried about it. So we want to keep it bunched, roll it up, and then same thing, just run your knife, rock it right through, and then everything stays intact, so then you can create your chopped cilantro. That goes the same for a bunch of parsley, or even if you're doing basil, just kind of roll it around and then rock your knife through it. But you definitely want to keep this intact. Don't ever separate it, because it will cause a cilantro explosion, and then you'll be trying to pull all these little pieces back together again. A couple more ingredients to show you guys. We've got some scallions here. I love to garnish dishes with scallion. It adds a little crunch, it adds a good little green onion flavor to it. The tops of these are usually kind of raggedy, so we want to get rid of those. So same thing here, keeping it intact and just kind of keeping it as a bunch, fingers in a claw, and then roll your knife down. I like to do mine on an angle, just because it looks really good once you've garnished your dish, if they're on like a nice thin angle. So. And I keep these super thin as well. So you don't want a big chunk of scallion in your food. They're really just there to garnish. Last couple of things here, we've got some mushrooms, some baby portobellos. These are also great to add any dish. They're obviously low in calorie. They add lots of flavor. So fingers in a claw and then just running your knife right through it. And then you can even, if you really want to dice these up, just do a rough chop on them. Nice and simple. And then the last thing I have to show you guys is garlic. I love adding garlic to my food. Once again, it gives it flavor without adding any calories. So That's what healthy eating is all about, really making it flavorful and delicious without extra calories. So the way to do this, if you're not buying already peeled garlic, you want to take your garlic clove, it's got the shell in it. You want to take the flat side of your knife right on top and just smash it, and that shell should pop right off. There you go, perfectly naked garlic clove. All right, and then you can just do a rough chop on this. If you want minced garlic, you can go a little smaller with it and really chop it up nice and fine. So we have all of our chopped vegetables ready to go. We have our good sharp knife, and that was your Meal Prep 101 tip of the day. For more nutrition tips and healthy recipes, subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit us on bpisports.com. My name is Barbara with BPI Sports, and I will see you guys next time.